Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Divine Diva, where the lovely guest for today is Emily. So, welcome, Emily. If you would like to introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. Well, I'm so excited to be here, so I feel very honored. My name is Emily Whiteside, and I coach women in everything from feminine energetics to soft success to creating their dream life. And I have been doing this since I believe I started in like 2017, 2018
Mhm.
timeframe. So been doing it for a while now, and gosh, it's led me in a direction that I never thought possible for myself. So it's just been such a beautiful journey of watching myself just evolve while, helping other people. It's
Mm.
just like such a win-win. But
Yeah,
yeah.
because you get to evolve beside your clients or with your clients, right?
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm walking on the journey with my clients in life, and we're just upgrading and evolving and manifesting together. And
Mhm.
it's really wonderful to watch and witness.
Mm. And I would love to know, like, what kind of qualities do you think a divine diva has?
Oh, that's a good question. A divine diva. To me, a divine diva is definitely someone who is flirty and like really connected to her feminine energy, but also very like grounded and has high standards. Like
Mm.
she's not settling in life, she's not leading a mediocre life, she's not people pleasing, but she's really like setting this boundary and setting this standard with the world of who she came here to be.
Mm. And how essential is it to have strong boundaries when doing that?
I'm sorry, what?
Or how essential is it to have strong boundaries when
Oh,
doing that?
so essential. Like I look at, every time I'm upgrading my life or like I look at who I used to be where I was a really big people pleaser and I was afraid of making other people mad. I was afraid of standing out. And one of the most important things on my journey has been setting those boundaries and learning like how to use the no word,
Right.
learning how to like reject what I don't want and not feeling bad about it. And knowing
Mm.
that when I reject something that doesn't sit right with me or doesn't feel right for me, I am making space and making room for the thing that I actually want. And it's not an act of bad, it's not an act of greed, but it's actually not only good for me, but it's good for the people in my world. And because I'm not settling or draining myself just to make somebody else happy.
Mm. And I had to learn myself that no is a full sentence. It doesn't always need explaining.
It's so hard to do though, because we're so conditioned as women
Yeah.
to, come up with like some excuse like, hey, do you want to go and do this tonight? And it's like, well, no, because I mean, then we have to make up some excuse instead of just saying no,
Yeah.
just
Not
because
up
we
for
don't
it
want to.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. And as someone who lives, well, a dream life to the standard of like a lot of women, I would love to know what are some of your key lessons that you have learned along this divine journey.
Oh my gosh, so many key lessons. I think the most important lesson that I have learned on this journey has been really understanding my desires versus my shoulds and
Mm.
really trusting that my desires are safe guidance. I think we are taught as women our whole lives that in order to be good, in
Yeah.
order to be a good girl or a good woman, we have to essentially be the people pleaser. We have to do everything for everybody else, and we should be the last ones filled up. And I watched like my mom working really hard and making sure everybody else is happy before she could ever give to herself.
Mhm.
And so one of my biggest tools in life is that self-care and it's that pleasure and like learning that I can't, and it's so cheesy, but it's like learning that I can't fill up other people's cup if I have nothing to pour from.
Mhm.
So it has really, one of the things that I've really learned on this journey is to be unapologetic about what I want, because we
Mhm.
truly, as women, we can have anything that we want. We can be anything that we want to be, but we have to be unapologetic. And
Mhm.
so many of us dim ourselves because
Right.
we're afraid of what our friends are going to think, or what men that we date will think, or what our partner will think. And I've always learned that dimming myself is not serving me,
Mhm.
definitely, but it's not serving anybody else. It's not serving my clients. It's not serving my friends. It's not serving my family. So
Mhm.
when I learn to take up space and I learn to actually trust my desires and go after the things that I want to do and want to be, and I trust that fully, I not only start healing parts of myself, but I also set the example for other people.
Mhm.
And I've really become the woman. I never thought like I would be this woman, but I've really become the woman that people look up to in some type of way. And people use me as evidence and use me as an example of what's possible. And I, even see it trickling in the strangest ways. Like I will notice like my own father, shifting like little things that I would never in a million years thought would come out of his mouth. He is like starting to dip his toes in and starting to learn about. And I've
Yeah.
never like once pushed anything on my family or my parents, but just by me leading by example and just doing things the way that they were never granted the opportunity to do,
Mhm.
although they questioned me a lot in the beginning, I see them healing and I see
Yeah.
them rising and like choosing themselves and choosing self-care and choosing to take that trip and choosing to learn how to meditate and understand themselves differently. So it's been really, really, it's been hard at points too, but
Mhm.
it's been really beautiful to watch like other people around me rise because I've chosen to rise.
Yeah. And I love that you say that you learn to take up space, but how important, or well, I think it's very difficult, especially for women, to the importance of actually owning that space, because you take up that space, but you have to make it your own and claim it as your own. How do we do that?
Oh my goodness. That's a really good question. I was sitting in a yoga class one day, and it was a point in my life when I had just started taking yoga classes by myself. Like, I was so codependent on relationships and on friendships that I couldn't take a yoga class by myself. I was so afraid to like walk into a studio and do something alone. And I had started going to this yoga class and like learning how to like just go to a studio by myself.
Mhm.
And I'm laying on the mat one day and I noticed myself not being able to, I was like shrinking myself on the mat. I was literally, we were in Shavasana where the instructor was like, take up space, like spread out,
Mhm.
move your hands out, move your legs out. And I was in this like tiny little constricted stance, afraid that I was taking up too much space
Mhm.
physically.
Right.
And after that, and I started to just like let my body like expand a little bit. And I started to physically take up space. And I
Mhm.
realized I do that so often
Right.
at that point in my life where I'm like, whether it's physically shrinking myself to like, make sure I'm not like touching other people or
Right.
taking up too much space, but even energetically, the most I was shrinking myself and not taking up space. So the way that I learned how to do that is like almost trusting my intuition, like trusting that instead of listening to the fear that says, oh, don't raise your hand. Like when I was a student in class, like I would never raise my hand in class. So instead of that voice that's like, oh, don't talk to that stranger, or don't look up, or don't be too confident because people will judge you, or because it's not safe, or because I started to just not listen to that voice
Mhm.
anymore. And I started to do the opposite. So if I was
Right.
in, and it was just little things, like if I was in an elevator, normally I would be like hunched over, looking at my phone, not making eye contact with anybody because I was so introverted. And I started to just like sit up straight and
Yeah.
have like a better posture. And I would smile at people instead
Right.
of just ignoring them.
Hmm.
And then I started doing little things. Like I remember I would never wear dresses. I would never wear red lipstick. I would never wear much makeup at all or like high heels because the men I date would like almost like make fun of me for it if like I ever dressed up or even friends like if I had like a colored lipstick on it would often be like why are you wearing that? Like that's so not you. And I started to just wear red lipstick as almost a permission slip to take up space. Like
Right.
it felt so bold for me to wear this bright red lipstick because I knew that it would like turn heads. I knew that it would stand out. And I truly started my journey with wearing red lipstick and
You
just
gave
putting
yourself
that on.
permission to be seen,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I swear that red lipstick like began, and that was like I mean, I still wear that color, not as much anymore, but I
Mm.
still wear my red lipstick. And it's just, it became that, like you said, like that permission slip to just take up space and to be
Right.
seen. It like literally made people look at me and me have to hold that power instead of shrinking. Because if you're thinking
Hmm.
about it, like, have you ever seen a woman wearing red lipstick that was like, hiding herself? Absolutely
No.
not. Like women
No.
who wear red lipstick are like hair flip, like I am the belle of the
Mhm.
ball. So
Yeah.
I learned how to become that woman by wearing that red lipstick and
Hmm.
learning to take up space. And I mean, I of course did like a lot of healing work, a lot of courses, a lot of investing in mentors. But that was like one of my signature things that really made me step into that new frequency.
And do you have any like daily sacred rituals that are just like a non-negotiable for you to fill your own cup?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Drinking tea is one of them. I'm
Mhm.
always drinking tea. Um, in the morning, like I always have my really slow, soft mornings. And I understand like for some of us, we don't have like the privilege of a slow morning, because I can like make my own schedule and whatnot. It's just become like crucial for me. But I think everyone can add a morning routine in. And for me, my morning routine always consists of a walk outside, because I have a dog, so I always have to walk him. But meditation, journaling, sipping my coffee really slowly, and just like inviting pleasure into my day. And often I'll wear like lingerie in the morning that's like a silk, like beautiful. It feels so good on my body, or like a really pretty robe,
Mhm.
and I'll light a candle and I'll have rose quartz near me and I'll just like slowly start my day. I don't, it's very, very rare that I like rush into my day first
Right.
thing. So always like a really soft and slow morning routine. Those are always non-negotiables. And then
Mhm.
another non-negotiable for me is movement every day. Even if it's just that walk that I take in the morning, or it's a Pilates class or a yoga class or a workout, every day there's movement because that's like a way that I can give to my body and serve my body.
Mhm.
So, yeah, those are some non-negotiables.
Mm. And I love that you like romanticize your life as well, because I think, especially as single women, we tend to, let the romance come from our partner or something, but we don't romanticize our own life. So I would love to get some tips about how you do that.
Yeah, I love this question. Romanticizing life, I feel like is one of my specialties. Like if I had a doctorate in anything, I think it would be romanticizing life or like flirting or something. But romanticizing my life, I shared this story the other day where it was my birthday one year and I was in this long-term relationship and I had woken up and I was like, okay, he is gonna like surprise me. He's gonna have like dinner reservations and flowers. And I woke up to dirty dishes and he was gone and he completely forgot my birthday. And when I, started an argument once he got home, he was like, I just like it slipped my mind. And I was like, how could it slip your mind that it was my birthday?
Mm,
And why wouldn't you bring home flowers or just like even like draw me a bubble bath, like do something for me? And he responded with, you don't even like flowers and bubble baths. And I was like, how dare him? I was so triggered. But after that relationship had ended and I started taking responsibility and healing my feminine, I realized that I had not once bought myself flowers. How
mm,
would this man know that I like flowers? I had not once ever asked him to buy me flowers. How
right.
would he know? And I've not once taken a bath in the years that we were together. Not one time had I went into the bathtub just to soak for
Right.
pleasure, right?
Mm,
So he had absolutely no idea who I was, even though I felt like that was my heart's desire. I wasn't branding that. I wasn't showing that to the world. So
mm,
romanticizing life, often my clients will say things like, well, I can't romanticize my life because I can't afford to travel, or I can't afford to go to the spa, or I can't like do the things that you do. And I have to remind people, like, where do you think I got started?
right.
Like, where do you think I began this journey with nothing, with no money?
Mhm.
So, romanticizing life is like really being present in life, but also not only being present, but making that moment really special. So if
Mm,
it's something like, I want to wake up tomorrow and have breakfast in bed,
right.
I'm not going to just like okay, I'm gonna wake up and like, I don't know, I'll just grab something from my fridge and rush through breakfast. It's like, no, I'm gonna actually like go to the store the evening before, buy fresh croissants, get a special green juice, and I'll wake up in the morning and actually plate my breakfast and take it to bed with me. And I'll put on music. So I'm setting like the ambiance for like the way that I want to feel. And we can
Right.
do this in every single moment is like extract the beauty. Like you're stuck in
Mm,
a rainstorm. How can you extract the beauty from being stuck in a rainstorm? Can you
mm,
go like as cheesy it is as it is, can you go like dance in the rain, right? You
yeah.
can make it so fun and so beautiful. And so, romanticizing my life, I'm somebody who gets bored so easily. Like, even as a child, like, I hated being bored. I hate being bored. So one way that I really started to like cure my boredom was how can I make this moment really, really special? Like, what
Mm,
can I do right now? Even if it's like, I'm gonna go put on a really pretty outfit and some red lipstick, and I'm gonna go walk through the city. And I'm
mm,
just gonna go into shops and get myself a glass of champagne and just like just frolic the streets, right?
yeah.
So romanticizing life is, I mean, you could even do it when you're watching TV instead of just like, okay, I guess I have no plans tonight. I'm gonna just watch a movie. It's like, no, watch that movie. Go get
Mm,
yourself a charcuterie board, light a bunch of candles, bring out
yeah.
the blowout mattress, and have a movie night with yourself while watching like rom-coms and laying in this like blown up mattress with a bunch
Mm.
of like treats and candles
It's really
around
like
you.
what the energy or the intention that you put behind what you do.
Yeah, and it makes it so much more special. And we're a lot less likely to scroll on our phones. We're a
Right.
lot less likely to, and that's another thing. It's like, I think a lot of us are so addicted to our phones, and like, I'm no better than the next
Mm.
person, where I have to literally leave my phone in a different room
Right.
because otherwise I won't even watch the movie and I'll just be scrolling the whole time. So, romanticizing life really allows us, it's like we're doing it for the plot, we're doing it for the story,
Mhm.
and it allows us to be fully present. And a lot of the risks that I've taken has been from the energy of like, I'm doing this for the story, I'm doing this for the romance, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times I've wanted to say no to things that I've done out of fear. Like I don't want to travel by myself. I don't want to go,
Mhm.
here. I don't want to, I'm too afraid to do this. And I do it because I'm like, imagine the romance that's going to come out of
Right.
this story.
Mm,
So, yeah, I think romanticizing our life is just like setting our stage, making it beautiful.
mm. And to you, what is the difference between a rich life and an abundant life?
Mm, I love this. I think in my definition of it, I feel like they're one and the same.
Mhm.
But I think that we mistake a lot of times what richness versus what abundance is. And I think that a lot of us mistake, like, if I have a rich life, that means that I have to have all of this luxury. I always like, I'll often say, I can't remember where I was, but I was somewhere once and I noticed this person in head to toe designer.
Mhm.
And I felt like they were the most scarce energy I had ever like sensed in my life because it was all about like the symbol. Like they wanted to look rich, but inside they were deep in their scarcity. And they
Mhm.
wanted, and I've seen this a lot where people like buy designer to cover up a void. Like they want to be seen in a certain way,
Mhm.
but deep down they're in scarcity mode and they're just trying
Right.
to prove it. Versus like quiet confidence, or quiet confidence is like, I might or might not be dressed in head to toe designer, but I feel abundant within.
Right.
So I have like learned how to like mesh those two worlds together where it's like we get to have this like rich life if we want that, but inside we feel abundant. So to me, richness can look like, to other people, it might look like materialism, where abundance is like, no matter where I am fulfilled and I am whole and I just feel wealthy from within. Where richness can often feel like something superficial or something we have to go chase.
Mhm.
But to me, like a rich, wealthy, abundant life is having both, right? Where I get to live how I've always wanted to, because that's what turns me on. Like, I love fashion, I love luxury, I love travel, but I'm also super, super grounded. And I can be, I always say, like, I can be in five stars and I
Mhm.
can also be in dive bars. And it doesn't matter. Like, I can be riding horses in the country with my cowgirl boots on, or I can be at the Ritz-Carlton in Paris having the most expensive glass of champagne, and both bring me such joy
Mhm.
and such love and such peace because of who I am and how I see the world. So an abundant life is truly like, it comes from within.
Mhm.
And it often will match that rich life that we want. And everybody's definition of rich life is different, right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't, a few years ago, if you would have asked me to name like five designers off the top of my head, I would be like, I don't know. I don't care. I wear plaid shirts and I wear jeans every day and sweatpants.
Right.
And that was like, I didn't need that to feel wealthy or to feel like abundant. But as I grew and as my life grew and as like my fashion sense grew,
Mhm.
I started to get into more of that stuff.
Yeah. And how do you protect your sacred energy?
Oh my gosh, this is so good. It's really important for me in protecting my energy to, first of all, exercise my no. So if I'm not wanting to do something, or if I feel unaligned with something, like unapologetically saying no to it, but also like really being selective and picky about who I spend time with. I read something years ago that was like, you become the five people that you spend the most time with. And I was like, that is ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. But when I started like looking at how I felt and who I was with most of the time, it was very in unison, right?
Right.
Because like if you're with the group of girlfriends who all they do is drink and party and complain about how they hate men and how they're so broke, I wouldn't be too surprised if you are having those same issues,
Right.
right? So it's really important to me when I take a client on, or especially like high level clients that get like really like big access to my energy, or when I meet a new friend or I'm even dating, it's so important for me that this person isn't draining me. And
Right.
everybody at some point maybe can drain me. It just like if I'm not prioritizing myself, like self-care is really important. But learned that like some people get to have super close access to me, and then others don't. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad person, it doesn't mean that I don't love them or I don't enjoy spending time with them. I'm just not going to give them all of my time and energy. So they
Yeah.
might, like, for example, be a friend that, yeah, I'm gonna go and have like a couple cocktails with at a dive bar once in every 3 months and like
Mhm.
catch up. And then there's going to be friends that I'm like in my pajamas with, and we're traveling together, and we are like telling each other our deep, dark secrets and like getting so close. It really, like, to protect my energy, I really have to like learn somebody and learn where they
Mhm.
fit in my world and where I
Yeah.
fit in their world too.
Mhm. Yeah, I always say my energy is expensive. So
Yes, that's a really, really good saying. My energy is expensive.
my final question is always the same question, and that is, when do you feel most divine?
Mm. I feel most divine. You know, I feel like this is so cliche, but I always feel most divine when I'm like dressed in something that makes me feel super sexy and like super feminine. And I'm just like so connected to, those days when you wake up and you just feel disconnected or drowsy. Like it's the opposite of that, where I just feel so connected to my body and I'm so just in the moment.
Mhm.
And no matter where I am, whether I'm like sitting on my couch or I'm having a glass of champagne with a girlfriend or on a date, whatever, I just feel like so alive and so free and so present in my life. And that's where I feel like the most divine.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us, Emily. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.